May 6th Ellis County Commission meeting to order. All those capable, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bob, if you do the call to order.
Commissioner Younger,
Present.
Chair Michael Burgess,
Here.
Commissioner Nathan Liker.
Here.
We have a quorum.
And do we have any changes to the order of business consideration? We do have one executive session, so we'll call that at the end. Before we get into the agenda items, Commissioner Younger would like to make an announcement.
Yes, at this time, since everyone's in here so they don't leave, I would like to recognize Bobby Dreiling for being one of the 64 that the Secretary announced graduation of the first ever certificate for election. So congratulations. So.
Thank you.
Prior minutes on the agenda, any changes or amendments from the commission?
I have none.
I don't have any. Consent agenda for consideration.
I would move to approve consent agenda items A through G.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any discussion on the items? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0. Issues from persons not on the order of business. So anybody from the public that would like to speak to the commission, your opportunity. Nothing here. Okay. First item then, introduction of new employees. Ms. Jennifer Taylor.
Good morning, Jennifer
Morning.
Taylor, Ellis County HR, and I have quite a few people here with me. Our departments have been busy filling their positions, so I will let some of the department heads go ahead and introduce their employees.
Good morning, Danita Schrader,
Morning.
EMS Director. I have Lauren Welchell with me this morning. She's from Mankato, and she is attending college at Fort Hays State, and she's going to work for us part-time. She has been an EMT since January of this year, so she's brand new, and we're going to show her the ropes. So,
Good deal.
Good
Welcome.
luck.
welcome.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Director
Morning.
Jeff Ridgeway Communications. With me today is Kylie Wiesner. She's been with us for about a month now, working in as one of our new dispatchers.
All right. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, and then I have Kevin Fahnensteel here with me. He's a truck driver too with Public Works, and he's been here this is his second week, I believe. So he comes with some experience, and Brendan wasn't able to be here today, so we do welcome him, as well as Haley Schoenberger with our jail. She's a detention officer.
Very good.
Welcome.
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Thank you, Kevin. Next item, preliminary plat, Severn Road and 400th Avenue. Environmental Services, Mr. Justin Craig.
Good morning, Commissioners. Justin Craig, Environmental Services Director. Before you this morning is the preliminary plat application for the Fairview Patch Edition. I'm here with today's James Mice and the applicants if you have questions to review that. Basically last month we held the public hearing with the Planning and Zoning to approve this preliminary plat, and then as part of our regulations it can come to the County Commission for approval of the preliminary plat to make recommendations of change, approve, whatever you see fit prior to them submitting the final plat application. So with that, if you have any questions.
No, were there any in the planning and zoning, were there any objections from their?
No, not from the public. There were some questions on the water, of course, which would come with any plat that we have. So.
Okay.
And this is located right along 400th Avenue, which is our eastern county line.
Yes, right along the border of Ellis County, Russell County, just north of Severn Road. And that road is shared with, shared maintenance with Russell County. I did contact them. They were at the public hearing to let them know that there could be an increase in traffic on that road.
And Severn Road is approximately 7 miles north of Highway 40?
I believe so, yeah. I think so.
Okay. So that's kind of our northeast corner of our county.
Yeah, it's a very, very northeast corner.
I don't have any questions. Is there a motion from the commission?
I do have one question, and I know we're just approving this for lots, but on the septic systems, I know that ground up there, are you comfortable with that as far as septic, or is it gonna be more lagoon?
We did go out and dig some profile holes. The pictures are,
Yes.
they're there. The soil's not ideal, but I think it will be serviceable. If it came down to where that they just happen to find a spot that wouldn't be good for laterals, they would be able to put a lagoon up there if they allowed them through the plat.
And this is a preliminary approval, so it still has to go back to planning and zoning for final approval then?
Correct, yeah. If you make any suggestions, recommendations today, they'll take that into consideration, and then they'll submit a final plat application to the planning and zoning to go through them, and then once they make their recommendation, it will come back to the commissioners.
Justin, this would go from a rural or an agriculture zoned area to a rural residential, is that correct? Or is,
Correct. It's agriculture now. There is one residence on the parcel now, so this will create, was it 13 additional residential parcels on the east side of that section?
and there'll be residential and or commercial?
Just residential,
Okay.
to my understanding, just be residential.
Well, I'll move to approve the preliminary plat application for Fairview Patch so they may submit their final plat application to Planning and Zoning Commission in accordance with the adopted subdivision regulations of Ellis County.
I will second that.
Okay. We got a motion and a second on the table. Any further questions or discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No, and I would like to state the reason why I'm going to say no. Spending a lot of time on the Planning and Zoning Commission. They recently rewrote the comprehensive plan and zoning regulations. And I just feel that if we approve a subdivision up in a kind of northeast area, it kind of goes against our regulations and comprehensive plan of trying to do a controlled growth of communities. So that is the reason I am going to vote no for this plat.
Well, the preliminary plat is approved by a vote of 2-1. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
KRAF grant. Miss Danita Schrader.
Good morning, Danita Schrader, EMS Director. In December of last year, we had, I came here and we applied for the CRAF grant, which is the Kansas Revolving Assistance Fund provided by the Kansas Board of EMS. And in April, we were notified that we did receive those funds. We were awarded that grant. So I would like to purchase 2 EKG monitors with that. And the grant will provide 25% of the cost of those monitors, and then we will pay the rest of it. I have budgeted for this in my capital plan, and so hopefully we can get those approved.
These are similar models to everything else that
Yes.
currently.
Yep, these will be replacing 2 of the monitors that are at the end of their serviceable life.
Okay.
And so now we'll be all updated with our EKG monitors.
Very good. I'll move to approve PO number 7918 in the amount of $73,258.24 to purchase two Zoll X Series EKG monitors.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the commission?
I do have one question, Danita. How often do these rotate? Are we,
The monitors?
Yes.
They're good for about 10 years.
okay,
So I think the last 3 years I've been here, I've gotten this grant awarded. The first year we did 4, and then we did 2 last year and 2 this year. So hopefully we'll just keep, as they get near the next batch gets near the end of their life, we'll
Okay.
seek out either new monitors or the same brand that we're having good luck with, so,
so that would be like 6 years, possibly, if you were here
yeah.
before? Okay,
6, yeah.
all right,
a little more.
okay, very good. Okay,
Further discussion? Got a motion on, second on the table. All those in favor say aye.
aye,
No opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Danita. Yeah, Health Department staff to attend the 2025 Kansas Immunization Conference. Ms. Melissa Miller.
Melissa Miller, Ellis County Health Department. I'm here to talk about an opportunity that I think would be beneficial for the staff of the health department, and this would be the Kansas Immunization Conference that's coming up Thursday, May 22nd in Wichita. I'm here to request an approval for a brief closure of the health department so that the staff can attend as a group. I would like to close for a few hours on Wednesday afternoon and then one full day on Thursday, the 22nd. I did attach the agenda, and as you can see, the planning committee did a good job of tailoring the conference to include something for each person in the department. With the measles outbreak in Kansas, the training is timely for our staff. We would learn about outbreak response, updated immunization protocols, best practices, and be able to hear from other counties how they've handled that in their spaces. Our nurses would also earn the required CEUs that they need. We have staff that haven't had access to formal immunization training yet, and so these are our frontline people, the first voice that answers the phone. We would like them to have all the education that we need to answer anything that comes up. I also feel like it would build team cohesion and support professional development, have us all on the same page, a stronger, more unified health department. The entire trip is fully funded through our Immunization Action Grant, and it was budgeted for this year as well. So that would cover our registration and lodging. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So with this, this is a yearly thing, Melissa?
It
Okay.
is a yearly thing that they do,
Okay.
the Kansas Immunization Conference. They also have the Governor's Public Health Conference, which is in March. There just wasn't enough time to get the staff split up. Typically, I could see sending some staff to the one conference at the beginning of the year and then the other more at this conference, but we just weren't able to do that this year.
Okay. And then they will get a certificate that they have completed?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, I move to allow the Ellis County Health Department to close the office from noon Wednesday, May 21st through Thursday, May 22nd, to allow the staff to attend the Kansas Immunization Conference.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? You answered the question I kind of had is, did we have it budgeted for the whole staff to go? And if we're going to take everybody to a conference, that's part of the consideration is how do we pay for it? So that was really my only question. So Wednesday afternoon and then all day Thursday, what's a typical day that the county residents may be missing out on as far as what they
Sure.
would be doing at the health department?
On Wednesdays is Foot Care Day. We also have that on Tuesday, so we would just not schedule appointments for that Wednesday
Okay.
time. And then Thursday is more just scheduled appointments as well. So even if some of the staff stayed to keep the office open, there wouldn't be nursing staff there to take care of the appointments.
Okay.
So,
And is Friday a half, what's our hours of Fridays? I don't-
we're closed on Fridays.
You're closed on Fridays,
Mhm.
okay.
So Monday through Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, we got a motion and a second on the table. Got any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye,
Aye. No opposed, passes 3-0.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Ellis County Historical Society funding from Administrator Darren.
As the commission is, Darren Myers, County Administrator. Each year, as the commission is aware, we have alcohol funds that we receive from the state, and due to statute, by the size of our county, we are required to split those monies into 3 different areas of our budget. One third of it can go to the general fund, 1/3 that can go to special alcohol programs, which the Care Council with Ellis County gives us a letter of each year on where they would like it to disperse to. And then the third, since it's usually supposed to go to Parks and Recreation, but since the county doesn't own any parks or recreation-type facilities, we have traditionally given it to the Historical Society in the past. And it's been budgeted, it's in a separate fund. The budgeted amount is $7,730 for 2025. And with the commission's approval, I'll go ahead and get this money dispersed out to the Historical Society.
I'll move to approve the special alcohol funds to be made to the Ellis County Historical Society.
I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion?
Only comment I'd like to make is it's going to a good place because Amanda Rupp has really surpassed that business down there or, tourist attraction, so good for her. Thank her.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0. Closure of administrative building for emergency generator installation. Again, Darren.
The admin building has never had an emergency generator, and with the ARPA funds that we received several years ago, the prior commission, I'm not sure if any of the 3 of you were on the board at that point, possibly, but it took us well over almost 2 years to get the actual generator itself, but the switching and electrical equipment was on a separate order, but also took longer to get here. It has now all since arrived, and obviously, we didn't want to do anything with the building until everything got here, so that way it can be done right and done all at once. But we are at the point where RDH, which is the contractor who put the generator in outside, now needs to connect it since all the switching and transfer switch equipment is here. And that requires us to have to essentially shut this building down for power because the generator was spec'd out to carry the entire load of this facility, not just certain areas, for continuity of operation purposes. So with that, we just need to schedule a time. RDH has to have Glassman here themselves, Midwest Energy and Foley equipment for the generator, all on the same day, as well as we need to coordinate it locally with our staff, as it doesn't necessarily just impact this facility, it impacts some of the others for phones, security access, and things like that. So what I'm asking the commission, even though I don't have an exact date of when that is that the commission would allow the chair and myself to consult once we have that date picked out with RDH, and then we can make the proper arrangements to close the facility for the time needed. We did talk that we, staff-wise, not on a Monday or a Friday. Mondays are always hectic, so to speak. Everything that's going to go wrong is going to go wrong either on a Monday or Friday at 4 p.m. So we're going to try to pick a day of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so that way if something does happen, there is a follow-up day that service technicians, not only with those 4 subcontractors, but also anybody that we have for networks, for phones, for any of our software, can be contacted in normal working hours. So that's why I don't have an exact date for you. It hasn't, not yet been determined, but I just want to have the flexibility to select that date once we have a date. And then I will point out that Commissioner Younger made the suggestion yesterday that we will select an alternate date, that if it's pouring rain, I'm doubting they're gonna wanna hook up a lot of electricity work. So we'll try to get an alternate date as well. So, take any questions?
Can we expect it to be a full day or half a day or?
We don't know. When we originally did some of the preliminary work that was underground outside, we shut down. It was only for about 2 hours, but it was in the afternoon of a Friday because it was a very short time frame and all of our servers were be able to stay up on the battery backup. So I'm hoping it's only going to be maybe a half a day again, but I can't tell you that yet for sure.
And once it's installed, will there be times when we test it and
Yes, it'll
run
have an
the building
annunciator.
on that backup generator and?
It'll have an annunciator panel, just like our other generators do, and it'll be scheduled to run every week at a certain time, maybe Tuesday at 8:35 after the commission starts, and the meeting starts. But yes, we will have a date selected, and all of our generators run on a weekly basis to test the load and switch over and everything.
And as far as, because I know this will affect a number of different operations, but this will not affect our dispatch operations.
Does not sound at this point like it will. We have our GIS server down here, but we also have, Mike's not here, Jeff's here, but we have redundancy at the emergency services building that should be able to continue and not disrupt anything with the 911 center.
Very good.
Unless Jeff wants to state anything further.
Okay.
The GIS aspect of the public safety is not on the same server. What the public safety software uses is at the law enforcement center, so it shouldn't be impacted.
Mike must have been listening, his ears were burning.
Okay.
The law enforcement stuff is not hosted on the site.
Right. So in this building, all of our core servers for all the financial and other than public safety, will potentially go down. We have a UPS that holds for 2 hours, and if this takes longer than 2 hours, we will do an orderly shutdown on the servers. Speaking of GIS, specifically, the website will remain up, but actually, the website may go down because that's hosted here. So yeah, we will lose most of those services after that 2 hour window, so.
That's why we had initial staff discussion last Thursday to start having these discussions on how it's going to impact each building a little differently, because it's not necessarily just this facility. So that's why we're trying to work to get a date set up, which allow Mike to be able to plan for it, because once we know if they say it's going to be 6 hours, then there's no use, I'm guessing, probably letting anything run on the backup for too long, so.
Right.
More information to follow. We're just trying to get the date set at this point.
Okay.
As far as our employees, how does that work as far as paying them the full day? Is that,
All the employees that won't be required to work, I'm sure Mike will have some of his here. But if we have to shut down for the afternoon, the employees will be sent home based on their needs. Some may be able to work at a different location, but the employees that can't work because the facility shut down will be on admin pay, and they won't, we can't force them to take PTO, so we'll have to put them on admin pay and pay them for being off work. There are some that, Bobby, as a elected official, she might be able to say that they can do something somewhere else, but that would be up to those departments. But IT will probably be here in preparation to shut down, but also in advance of coming back live with power and all that. So each department's going to, HR obviously will be on admin pay. So And then we also need to coordinate this also once we get closer with the date set with Adams Brown upstairs, so they can also plan as well.
I'll move to allow the commission chair to give approval to close the administration building to install the emergency generator transfer equipment.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second on the table. Any further questions or thoughts? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0. Administrator's report.
I have no report this morning.
Neil, anything additional?
Yeah, I did go to the SACAD, which is the Scholar Creative Activities at Fort Hays. That's my second time I went there, and actually my wife went with me, and she thought some of the stuff was pretty neat. Some of the stuff, as we all know, this month is mental health, and there was a lot of displays, and we talked to a lot of the different students there. So that was very interesting, and also attended the Ellis County Planning and Development meeting. Also went to the recovery court. We did graduate a young man and a young lady, and for the years that I've been in the commission, I've seen them both, and congratulations to them, and hopefully they can, just keep that up, and hopefully they'll come back. So it must have been very important because Judge Brown also come back, and so he had them in his time that he was there. Also, this week, the 6th through the 12th, is Nurses Week. So if you know any nurses, and congratulate them and tell them thank you for your service. Also, May is also Electric Safety Month. So if you're working on something, whether it's our employees or you're doing something at your everyday job, if you're self-employed, whatever, be careful. You're only going to get one chance at that. So please be careful on that. And then a happy birthday to, I hope I don't mess her last name up, but Cody Niblock. And also I did attend last night the Ellis city meeting, which was long. And I think they've come to some consensus what they want for a bridge, so we're getting that. We're getting there. And last but least, everybody happy Mother's Day, including, your spouse. And our women do a lot for us. So, that's all I have.
Very good. Nathan, any final?
Attended the road tour with my fellow commissioners and the administrator and Public Works. And thought we had a very nice conversation with City of Ellis, so I did not attend their meeting last night, but I hope that went over well. I think there's going to be a lot of questions going forward from everyone, but I feel we saw a lot and have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. I'll just add to that, sorry to butt in, but, Commissioner Dave has been there for, I got it out of him last night, 22 years, and we should feel proud as commissioners, all of our employees, that we can work together with the city. He said that's the first time that it's ever been that commissioners met with the city, so nothing bad about any other commissioners in the past, but we're headed in the right direction, so.
Very good.
That's it.
There you go. That was going to be a little bit of what I was going to say. Thank our commission. We had our road tour last week, of course, but having a joint commission meeting again with the city of Ellis. Again, I commend my fellow commissioners. This is multiple times in the last couple of years we've had joint meetings with city or school boards or whatever it is, and try to work together to find solutions with that. So again, thank you to you both for being able to do that with us. The only other event, I attended the National Day of Prayer at the VFW. I appreciate the the organization putting that on for the day, or for the hour, and praying over our nation, over various, we're there to pray over the government, pray over our schools, and very poignant hour of time that I spent there. With that, we have an executive session.
Okay, I move to the Board of County Commissioners recess to an executive session for 20 minutes under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meeting Act pursuant to attorney-client privilege exception, contract review. Those in attendance, the Board of County Commissioners, Scott Brown, Bill Jeter, and Darren Myers. And we will go till 9:20.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Quick
All
dis-
those in favor say.
Quick comment, Scott Brown will, he'll call in. He's out of
Oh,
town for a meeting,
okay.
so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, call it.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposes. Pass 3-0. executive session at 9:25, no decisions were reached. Adjourn the Ellis County Commission at 9:25, 9:26.